Hi, it's Leah, here to tell you about Dr. Anthony Pannozzo. He's a pain specialist located in southern Palm Beach County, so if you are somebody that you know is suffering in pain, Dr. Pannozzo is the one you guys need to call. And make that call today, because living in pain is no way to go through life. Dr. Pannozzo has been in practice now for more than 49 years. He's treated more than 73,000 patients for pain. He's an expert when it comes to diagnosing the pain, and he has had huge turnarounds. In fact, people living with scoliosis, he has had nearly a 100% turnaround. Lumbar pain as well. If you've got lower back pain, if you're suffering with migraines or flat feet pain, maybe pain in your elbows, your neck, your shoulders, Dr. Pannozzo can help you. And the greatest thing is he can help you without drugs, without surgery, and without having to go through weeks and months of rehabilitation. Give him a call today. Set up an appointment. It's 561-381-5800. Tune into his show Sundays, 11 to noon. And now, here's this week's edition of the Dr. Pannozzo Sports and Medicine Hour.
Good morning, everybody, and I hope you're having a happy, wonderful day today. And if you aren't having a wonderful day and you're in pain, you should see Dr. Pannozzo. Ladies and gentlemen, am I right, Doc?
That's right.
I want to introduce you to Mr. Freddy S. Am2.TV, who helps make Dr. Pannozzo look as great as he is.
Good morning.
And we got Carol. Tell you, Carol, tomorrow you won't be here. You'll be Connecticut again, who helps us getting all the calls. Doc, how you feeling?
Very good.
And before I start, I don't want the people
Give our number out. 800 number.
Go ahead. What is it, Doc?
800.
889-0267. Guy cures 70,000 people. Freddie, he can't remember the number. 800-889-0267.
That's the calling number.
That's our calling number. Now, today, I don't want the people from New York getting mad at me, so I'm going to have to read some of the questions that we've missed. Is that okay with you, Doc?
Yeah.
Okay. The first question I have is ready for. I like this guy already because you know what his name is? Lester.
Lester.
Must be a smart guy.
Must be family related.
It must be, right. Lester from New York City writes, I've been told that Botox is a short-term solution to migraines, which I had for over 4 years. I've heard your show many times and heard you say Botox isn't an answer and using this procedure could hurt you, that more than help you. Why does the FDA allow this treatment to take place if it doesn't work? Those who have used it says it does remove the pain, but for a couple of weeks only. Can you explain why? I guess he wants to know why is the FDA approving it and why doesn't it work and they're still approving it?
Well, the FDA has to approve something that's recommended by the doctors. Mm-hmm. So what they look for is a downside to it. Is there any side effects? I mean, what can really happen to people? And if nothing, then they say, okay, well, it's a treatment. Mm-hmm. It's not a good treatment, though. It's because Botox works on muscle, not ligament, and your headache comes from ligament.
Okay.
So it's not a good treatment for that purpose. There's no downside to it. I mean, I don't know, if you put it in your forehead, you lose your wrinkles.
But that's also temporary.
Yeah, everything's temporary. What we do is permanent, though. That brings me up to we're doing really, really good with the migraine and the ringing in the ears. I mean, you can't believe this.
Yeah, explain how you figured that out.
I mean, we have a guy who runs a big automobile agency, and he was going to commit suicide.
Was that the guy you met, or is this somebody else? I know I met somebody.
I don't know if you met him or not, but anyway, he was having a lot of trouble with that, and so he took a chance, and he had his third visit, and he has days where he has no symptoms at all. Now, people listening to this, this is not joking around. This is the real thing. If you want to get rid of vertigo, headache,
TMJ,
not TMJ with headache.
Oh, I'm sorry, Doc.
You're in the wrong part of the body.
Hey, Doc. I mean, look. Let's understand. You are the doctor. I am the host.
TMJ. Yeah, TMJ goes.
But you can't fix TMJ, right?
We can't.
We'll go back to that later. Let's go.
All right, let's go back to headaches.
Okay, headaches. I'm getting a headache right now, folks. I'll tell you.
All right. So vertigo, headache, and ringing all come from the same place. So if you have any of those three, come in and we'll take care of it. I mean, it's so simple to do, and if you don't do it, you're not being fair to yourself. I mean, why put up with that baloney when you can get rid of it? If you can get half of it gone in a day or two, was that better? I mean,
You know what it is.
I mean, what's the use of having a good development like that, a good research, if you don't take advantage of it?
Well, you've researched
That's what
this.
we're doing here. Take advantage of it.
Well, let me tell you, I know there's always a lot of new people because we look at all the numbers we get back. And New York, thank you so much for doing what you've done to look and listen to the show. And I'm letting everybody know in the next couple of weeks, we're going to run shows for you to see actual patients going through the actual stuff. No actors, which I think that'll get
That'll
you
be
to
nice. Yeah.
Well, one of the things is, Doc, I mean, I've seen in your office, I brought in a young woman in her 40s and meeting another woman in her 75. And the funny part, they both went for the same thing, Botox. Okay, because they spend millions of dollars on advertising to get the word Botox out. Both of these women, 40-year difference, were cured in one day. Now, the women I've seen have never said to me, it didn't work. And they have no headaches or vertigo. You know how hard it is to drive a car when you're on the road and get vertigo right in the middle of the thing? That's terrible stuff.
Well, we're getting virtually 100% cure rate.
And that's amazing.
On this. And no one else does it in the world. I did the research on it myself. And it does work. I mean, if it didn't work, we wouldn't do it. And people are reporting on their husbands and wives that they had the treatment and the headaches never came back.
The lady we had on last week swears by you, not at you. Swears by you, yet you're the great. Like, I got that in, huh? That since she's become, she has multiple injuries, so I want everyone to know she just doesn't keep coming back. But I want to tell a story, Doc, that made me so proud. I want everyone to. Fred, you got to hear this. Okay. I sent in a lady that had problem with a plantar fasciitis, right? And she said to the doc, "How come you're not giving me a shot in the heel?" And he said, "Let me ask you a question." She was telling me the story at the gym yesterday. She said, "I had a whole bunch of shots in the heel," and he said it didn't work. So let me explain that. It didn't work 100%. And you know what? She came in the next time and said, "How much do I owe you, doctor?" And he said, "Oh, nothing. You don't pay until I cure it." Now, that to me means a lot to me because I recommended somebody, and he's trying to find the source of that pain. And she offered him money, he wouldn't take it. So I want everyone out in that listening audience, I know New Yorkers are very skeptical because we are. When has a doctor refused to take money? And that to me is amazing. I've seen you work with kids that couldn't afford their parents to get scoliosis treatment, and you worked on them for free.
Well, I hope not a lot of people want to do it for free.
Not too many of you. Now, if you're driving a Bentley, I'm going to tell you right now, you're getting charged.
Yeah.
So that's just me. It makes me feel good to know that someone like you is around.
Well, it's the real thing. I mean, people aren't used to the real thing, and this is it. I mean, what you're hearing is all true stuff. I mean, we don't make anything up, and there's no script.
And when you see our show that'll be coming soon, our genius is right here, that you're going to see actual patients.
Is that what a genius looks like?
Well, I mean, he used to be, before he was a genius, he didn't look so smart. Look at the way he's studying things, Doc.
That's when that's when he had hair.
Oh, when he had hair was a genius. He was just
and the fun continues.
And he was just a lover. Now he's an intelligent guy.
What kind of show are you going to be showing and where?
We're going to be showing this in New York and hopefully Boston.
And what kind of show?
It's going to be but it's not a reality show. It's going to be a real show.
You got to be nice to him because he's the one that's going to do it.
He's the one that. Oh yes.
But wait a minute. What are we going to?
He's irritating you right now.
But tell the people what it is that they're going to be able to see.
You're going to see real patients, not actors. An totally unscripted show of patients coming in. Dr. Pannozzo, they'll be explaining to Dr. Pannozzo what the pain is. He's going to take you through the scenario of asking the questions, and then he's going to give them a shot, and they're going to wait maybe 10 minutes, and they do not leave that office until that pain is at least 85% well. The next morning they wake up, if they're not 100%, they call them up. We're going to show that. It's going to be something new that no one's ever seen. We're going to do reality, but we're not going to call it reality. It's going to be real. Real patients, real symptoms, real cures. And I think that's what the New Yorkers want to see.
Yeah, there's nothing made up here. It's whatever it shows. And we don't discriminate either.
No.
So everybody actually improves.
So Jewish people could come in too?
Yeah.
Because you don't discriminate? Okay.
Well, that's really interesting. You're going to be showing people coming in with different ailments and telling you their story.
Right, all kinds of stuff. There's no boredom there. It's always from the top of the head down to the bottom of the feet.
So we get to live Pannozzo's world.
Yep.
In Pannozzo.
Oh, you're going to be living Pannozzo's world. More than you think, my friend.
Well, no, I like going to Pannozzo's office because half the world in his waiting room, they tell you all these stories about what they've been through, what they're going through.
I'll tell you a very funny story. I was in Thursday because I couldn't make it. I couldn't make it on Tuesday, and I was in Thursday, and there's two people filling out new patient forms, and I said, and the other two people that have been patients for him are saying to the guy, I'm gonna tell you, a woman and a guy, I'm gonna tell you, you're never going to get relief from any other doctor, because I've been to all those doctors, and I'm saying they're going, my job is done. I got two new people listening to patients. I mean, I've been in doctors' offices, but I've never seen patients talking to other patients, and I think that's what makes what he does so remarkable. It's people that are getting their life back. And you insurance companies out there, you don't know what the freak you're doing, because he's getting people. I just want to say one thing, Doc. I'm sorry, it's your show. If you have to pay out of your pocket to live again, you're foolish not to. Because pain is a bitch. I don't care what anyone says.
A very big point you're making. Never let your insurance company tell you what to do for your health. No one should do that except you.
Right.
You got to investigate, and you got to put your resources where it's going to benefit you. Remember, your insurance company's only in there for money. They're for business. Mm-hmm. And if they don't cover what has to be done, what are you going to do? Live with it? Don't let them tell you what to do. You take your money and you buy your service and you go on with your life. Don't let the insurance companies tell you what to do. Remember, you're just a number to them.
And let me tell you this. I know what you people pay for Botox. I could tell you that you're not even close to what you pay at Dr. Pannozzo to get rid of a migraine. You're not even close to what they charge.
No, it's
for
one-day treatment. I mean, 1 day or 2 days, and that's it.
And folks, I just want to let you keep this in mind. Botox does not guarantee you'll never get a headache again, and you got to come back every 4 months to get another shot.
But they tell you got to come back.
Yeah, they tell you. It says right on the edge.
You know who's, where this money's coming from to advertise? It's coming from AGN, which is the big. It's a huge company. They have it's the company that makes the Botox.
Oh,
yeah.
That's where all this is coming from.
It's amazing, Doc, because people. I had a friend that I was sending to you. She elected to go with surgery, and she was jumping up and down. They had a surgery party because she waited 6 months to get in. And I said, why are you celebrating the fact that you're about to replace your hip? I said, are you insane?
That is insanity.
She had the operation and she was crying and saying, I don't believe I didn't listen to you. I said, I just don't understand the logic.
I don't either.
And the monies that you have to spend, your out-of-pocket costs on these surgeries.
20% of about $80,000.
I mean, that's just...
That's 16 grand.
That's a lot of money.
A lot of money.
16,000, and there's no guarantee you'll be better.
And why is there waiting list for 6 months? I mean, she should know something.
I'm gonna tell you something.
She could have had that treated in a week.
I unfortunately I had to spend time in the hospital over the last few days, and
by the way, how is she doing?
Excellent.
Hey, Linda, our prayers always go out to you, sweetie. I miss you here.
And the beds that they have for all these surgeons, it's got to be 20, 25 beds. I couldn't even see down the hall, all filled. And they were marking what leg to operate on. I guess there are so many people this one doctor's operating on. He's got to mark on the skin, this leg, not this leg.
That's right. Yeah.
This knee, not this knee, because he doesn't know who's who.
That happened in Tampa.
It's craziness.
The man had something with one leg.
Well, it happens at Delray right here.
Yeah, and they removed the wrong leg. Now here's a guy with no legs. Because it was...
They took the wrong one off, then they took the right one off.
He doesn't have a leg to stand on the court. I'm sorry, guy, if you're listening.
Lord.
Well, we're making fun, but listen, this is a serious problem.
It
really is.
In
scary.
other words, don't get operated unless you have to.
That's right. That's a result of the last thing you should want to do. But Doc, it just went down. I said, my goodness gracious. Now I see what Dr. Pannozzo talks about.
He's right.
Yeah, and I see people that go to 15 different places because they're trying to rule out what it isn't, not what it is.
They go for acupuncture. They go for rock. This hot rock therapy. And if you know what, let me tell you something, folks. If you don't believe us, go to WebMD, go to JAMA, Journal of American Medical Associations, and you read up how many of these surgeries were not supposed to be done. Okay, and then you find someone that here's the worst thing that could happen. Here's the worst thing that could happen with Dr. Pannozzo. It doesn't work. or you don't like them. That's it.
That's
We've
it.
got more people that don't like you than
Then it doesn't work.
Then it doesn't work, because it always works. Yeah, and I always like to.
That's true.
Well, people argue with Pannozzo because they are so used to doing it the wrong way
Yeah.
that he comes from you in a different location. He comes at you in a different way. And people says, but I have the MRI. I don't want to see the MRI. But the doctor said, I don't want to hear what the doctor said. The reason you're here.
Because what you did before failed.
That's right. That's why you're here.
Yeah.
It should be the other way around.
Oh, if we were 20 years younger, Doc, we would be zillionaires by now.
That's true.
Well, the MRIs are really they're over blessed. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants to get an MRI, but the guys who ordering it don't have a clue.
No.
That's why they order it. You understand, people? If you go to somebody and they say, "Well, I don't, well, let's get an MRI," that means they don't know what's wrong with you and they didn't examine you. They expect the radiologist to do it, and they're not going to be able to do it because they have no clue on what they're looking at. For instance, we do a standing film, and it's a weight-bearing film. They don't do that. They do a laying down film.
Oh, right.
So there's a lot of things that are
He's right.
Of course he's right.
A lot of things that we diagnose from the standing up film because it's a weight-bearing issue. How do you bear weight? You have your body weight is above the pain, and so it's a primary or secondary. If it's a primary, you have to take care of that before the secondary. You might feel it on the right side, but it's a secondary pain. The primary should be on the left. But you have to know how to put this stuff together. MRIs read everything there is. I'm not taking anything away from them, but they can't tell you where the pain's from.
That's right.
That's what I do. That's what I do for a living.
In other words, a dermatologist studies the skin and skin cancers. A surgeon only studies surgery. You have decided after your medical career in Ohio State and I think Pittsburgh or Pennsylvania, where you did internship, to do musculoskeletal. That's all you do is musculoskeletal.
Right.
What that means is you know the human body and what causes pain. That's the key. What causes the pain and how do I relieve it?
It's all based on the anatomy.
Right.
Design and function. You know, you could talk about a lot of these things like design and function, weight bearing. It's a physics problem, and that's all true. It's absolutely all true. And before we could treat a knee, we went back to the anatomy and find out where the pain's from. You just don't take a knee off.
That's right.
You should treat it.
102,000 patients as of right now have
all knees are treatable, and I think we're getting more and more people who want to know what's wrong with their knee.
102,000 people, Doc, have had knee replacements that didn't need it.
Well, you know, the other thing that
The number's gone up.
The other thing that I noticed, Doc, when there's
No
somebody,
way.
when somebody's in the hospital, and let's say it's a knee, and without HIPAA and all that, somebody's in there, the number of doctors that come to visit, it's never the same doctor.
I had 7 with my problem when I was in there for 4 days.
And it's really funny when the bills start coming in. Every doctor charges a different rate.
Yes.
Every doctor's charging X, Y, and Z.
Well, first of all, you have an anesthesiologist put you
That's
to
another
sleep.
bill.
So that's one. Then you got a general doctor who overrules who looks over your records.
Then you got the hospitalist.
That's 2. You got the surgeon, 3.
And a hospital, they have a new thing. It's called a hospitalist who works for the hospital.
That's
Comes
the
to look at you.
hospitalist.
That's 4.
So that's the 3rd one. And I don't know how many more else you can have.
Oh my God! But
And
so
then the
many
group,
come.
If you get an orthopedic group that have 10 people in it, you'll get a different one every time.
If you're there on the weekend, it's a different crew.
Never get sick on the weekend.
It's a different crew, Doc.
Yes.
You're never going to see these doctors again. They just
Different
come in
crew.
and make sure
Right.
that you're alive.
Right. So
And-
you got to get billed for all that. The
Oh, yeah, the
radiologist,
bills,
you get
you
a bill
could-
for that one.
You could
And-
build a mountain.
I got a guy that came into me when I was there, and he said, I'm Dr. So-and-so. I'm not going to give the name. And I said, okay. He said, I want to talk to you about your problem. I said, my gastroenterologist is at this hospital. He said, yeah, but I run the surgery center. I said, you know what? Why don't you call my doctor and tell him what I'm supposed to do?
Why don't you tell him?
Yeah.
Why are they telling you?
He said, no one's ever said that to me. I said, but you understand something. Oh, he has all my history. You're just coming in to talk to me. And you want to know something? I'm really watching a show that I want to watch.
Is that what you told him?
Yeah, I was watching something.
Hey, Les, they ever give you all this medication, messes up all when you take your blood work, everything is screwed up. Then they got to send you to another doctor because you're all screwed up.
Twice.
And then they come back and say, well, it's getting better. Let's send you to another doctor, another blood work, another blood work, another blood. And meanwhile, it's like a taxi cab in New York. It just keeps going.
Well, you know what I do when I go in the hospital? I go like this. Here is my blood work from 3 doctors. It was taken in the last 3 months. I don't want any more needles. And they said, we don't do that here. I said, we have to take your blood. Here is my 3 things from 3 doctors. Well, no, doc, you're not taking my blood. And then with medication, I bring my own medication in.
How do you bring your own medication in?
My doctor signs off that I bring my own medication. I don't take the medication because they'll screw it up. You can request it anytime you want. You're a patient.
That is true. I have personal experience with
yeah,
this.
am I right?
Yes, it's absolutely
Patients
right.
don't understand something. They're just doctors and hospital people. It's your body. You know how many people die from them giving the wrong medication because the guy down there read it wrong?
I've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it too.
I've seen them give somebody a medication that it didn't react well with her.
What happens when you come to my office?
You don't have
No
any
medication.
There's no medication. I do all the work, and we do all the treatments right on site.
That's what. Wait.
And you come out pain-free relatively.
You know what someone called you?
Well, what else do you want? I mean, that's the whole thing.
Someone called you Dr. Wellaby. Remember that show, Dr.
Welby.
And he said, well, I called up his number and he answered. I went into his office. He said it's so refreshing. I didn't have to go through the. Remember that thing at Seinfeld does? Went into the big office, then they take him into the little office. Then they go into the other office. He said, by the time I see the doctor, I'm dead tired. He gets you in and out in like no time. Right. Sometimes he's working on something that requires more than one shot, and you got to wait.
Well, everybody gets what they need. I mean, we
that's
don't shortchange it.
That's
so
the
if
key.
you have to wait, that's you have to.
We had someone who didn't want to wait. Remember that one, Doc?
Well, they go out and they come back.
Yeah. They get mad at him. They come back that they had to wait so long. I said, now you have to go to the bottom of the list again.
Really?
There's a note on my window, though. It says, we do not prescribe any kind of medication whatsoever. Right. And some people leave. They read that.
They read. Well, a lot of them want a new prescription because theirs ran out.
We're not interested in that kind of fakery or playing around.
Again, Doctor, the reason I repeat a lot of stuff. You want another question? Yeah, sure, no problem, buddy. Questions.
Yeah, there's a lot more people.
Remember, you are the boss. You want questions read? We read them.
Did you get that?
Yes,
I'm the boss.
I got that.
He lets me be the boss.
I always believe the guy with the most knowledge deserves to be the boss. Sarah from New York City writes, my right hip has hurt me for such a long time that I've asked my doctor to order surgery for me to replace it. They have used all sorts of names for my ailment with no cure in sight. My mother asked me to watch your show and I was amazed. For the amount of money that I will have to lay out for surgery, I'm better off just flying down to Boca and getting myself treated and staying in a nice hotel for 2 weeks and still have money left over. Does your procedure require physical therapy after you fix the hip? Degenerative hip is what they say I have, but I don't know what that means. All I know is pain.
What the hell does that mean?
Sarah, that's a great question.
Degenerative joint disease is what you learn. But what it is the capsule that holds the bones together becomes inflamed and painful. So you have trouble moving your hip. Okay, but it's a capsule. It's not inside like they try to tell you. You have no cartilage. That is not true. It's on the outside. Mm-hmm. There is no pain fibers inside the joint. So that's the answer to her question. So what we do is we treat the capsule. Mm-hmm. Range it, and when we have a pain there, we put a anti-inflammatory in there, which cures that particular place. The trouble is they're large, and it takes more than one.
Right.
But it's not the same place all the time.
No, that's true.
It just changes.
Well, you told me that one had the groin injury. You said there were 5 parts of it, and you have to find where it was. It took 2 shots, and that was over 2 years ago. Now, if I was a pro ball player, I'd be out there earning my salary, man.
You would be.
But
I got a question. Going back to the hip, Doc. If they're walking around with a bad hip, which you can repair, and let's say they walk around with it for a while, does it affect the other side as well? Because you're putting the weight.
That's a great question.
The weight bearing is different.
Yeah, well,
good question.
That's true. If your one hip doesn't work well, the other one's going to work more.
And then
but we can distinguish that.
Right.
It's not a treatable thing. It's a phenomenon of weight bearing. In other words, the examination is different.
Mm-hmm.
And the hip area will also cause knee and then eventually the foot to go south too.
Yeah, causes the knee, absolutely.
I know that because that's what I had. I didn't have what he's describing, I don't think, but there is damage in my hip that causes the pain to go elsewhere.
When he treated you, I don't remember. What did he treat you?
Well, he took the inflammation out of the bottom of my foot so I could walk again.
Yeah.
Because it hurt like the dickens.
He wouldn't come back for more treatment.
No, I want to come back for more.
This guy's a stoic.
First of all, you're very busy.
Oh, yeah.
You are very busy. So I would have to go in there when I have nothing else to do because I'm going to be waiting like everybody else, which is fine.
Well, when you're coming in Tuesday, you'll have time for that. You're coming in Tuesday, we got to work on this. Which is,
thank you.
So the world knows what this man does.
I have all the faith in the world in this.
Oh, so do I.
If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have gotten. The other thing is I couldn't work, and he gave me my legs back, and all of a sudden I went haywire. I started working.
Fred, that's a cure. You got your life back.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
what people don't understand, you understand, by waiting for Medicare to approve something, you know what? It's not that much money, folks. Just think of it this way. So Friday and Saturday night, you don't go out and have 7 drinks and 2 dinners, and you go out the rest of your time, and you walk, and you talk, and you have no headache. That's the bottom line.
Well, the worst thing is if you have certain insurance companies like Cigna, you have to have an approval for what we do by somebody else who doesn't do this kind of work. That's the biggest dumb thing there is.
That's why I'm with United Healthcare AARP. They approve it.
Well, that everything goes. Then there's another one, another company that somebody else approved. Coventry.
Coventry.
And those you don't want because all that is a way to diminish their expenses for the insurance company.
Yeah.
Now, if somebody else out of town has to approve it, you got to ask yourself one thing: who's examining me? Those people or my doctor?
That's right. That's right.
Are they more intelligent than my doctor? There is nobody better than me. I would tell you that right now. Even though you think I pat myself on the back, I am. I mean,
well, nobody does what you do.
Well, the girl in Carol sent one of the board ops over to see you. That's pretty good, and she was cured.
Yep.
And she was taking some heavy meds.
Yep.
And Jimmy up in Jupiter
also
was cured by him, by Dr. Pannozzo. And then Jimmy, every time he has a chance, he talks about you.
Did we get that question answered?
I think so.
Yeah, that was a good question.
That was a great question. Thank you so much, Sarah. Dawn from Atlanta writes, new listener, long sufferer. I've had inflammatory feet for many years. My doctors have given me anti-inflammatories to reduce the swelling in my feet, but every day it hurts right where the arch is and takes a few hours for me to tolerate it. I have also put my feet in ice water to numb the pain, which again gives me relief for a couple of hours. That's the key, relief. Dr. Pannozzo, why do my feet swell so much? I am in good health, and this is the only problem I have. I'm on my feet a few hours per day, but spend more time sitting than standing. Can you help me, and how?
Well, that's probably why your feet swell. You sit too much.
Yeah.
The pain there on the inside arch is there's a joint there. You take care of it in a second.
Right.
I mean, there's no reason to suffer with that.
And let me tell you something, Dawn. I go up to Atlanta all the time to visit my daughter. It's 75 minutes by plane. You could come in the morning. In the afternoon, you go have a nice lunch, and you can be home to watch TV with your family.
Right.
With no more pain. Jerry from Atlanta writes, I was diagnosed with chronic pain from infection in my knee. The doctors say I have an infection that needs antibiotics to clear up the swelling, and that will go down and the pain will go away. I'm not a doctor, but wanted your opinion on this because something doesn't feel right with this method of cure. Can infection do this first of all, and is there a way to clean up and remove the pain?
Well, infection is hardly it. I mean, that should clear up with just antibiotics. You don't have to do anything. But if it continues on, you can imply that it's an inflammation of the knee structure itself. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Never came.
Never came? Yay, all right, Doc.
There we go. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But we had an elderly lady just last week. They had the same problem. Patella kneecap inflammation, and
Here we go.
surgery. And we treated that. It took us 3 days to get all this inflammation out of there.
Now, a lot of people,
But it's usually not a bacteria.
but a lot of people want to know, how come not your office isn't like a restaurant backed up for 20 feet to get in? And I can answer that question now, Tree, is because you take the most critical pain people first.
Well, no, it's we fix everybody. That's
Right.
why you don't come in there for multiple treatments. It's one day and maybe another, and that's it.
It's amazing. I mean,
So we're looking at new people all the time.
what I have to let everybody know, this isn't magic. This is real medicine.
Yeah, this is real
This
medicine.
is someone that went to Ohio State, one of the top medical schools in the country, worked in Pennsylvania.
Well, we developed a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, you did, because you decided that
and,
was...
for instance, the scoliosis is still being operated, which should not be.
No, especially
but
the
the
children.
doctors don't let. They don't want to know. They don't ask about this stuff. The people who treat headache, they're still treating it wrong, and feet. I mean, podiatrists are surgeons. That's the way they're trained. So you don't want to go to a surgeon for your feet.
Mm-mm.
You want to get it diagnosed and get it treated. Most people carry the term neuropathy. You know, neuropathy is thrown around like it's something simple. It isn't.
What is neuropathy, by the way?
Well, the nerves don't work right,
Right.
and there's reasons for that. So if you don't have those reasons, then you don't have a neuropathy.
Mhm.
So you have something local in the feet that can be treated, which we would do. We do that.
Well, you know what I like about Dr. Pannozzo also, Freddy, and you'll attest to this. He doesn't give you all that medical jargon when you come in. He talks to you like you're a real person, explains things to you, and that's really the way the old time doctors used to work. He talks to you like a human being. He treats you, and he gets to the source of the pain, and you're gone.
What are you talking about? When I told him my shoulder hurt, he put his thumb in
yeah.
in front here, and he pushed with those hands of steel he got.
How about when you do it in your
I
Oh,
thought
groin,
that was
doctor?
your
Doctor?
elbow.
No, you did. First you did the shoulder. You did the shoulder first, and then you did the elbow.
Oh, okay.
The elbow, I didn't take a shot at nothing for. You told me exactly what to do, and I pressed down and pushed down and pushed down. And look at it today.
Yeah.
Well,
Amazing.
The guy, I always tell the story about the guy that looks like you. He's a big, strong guy and very strapping guy. Came in, and he gave him a shot, 2 shots in the elbow. And this was a year and a half ago. Every time, Raphael, every time I talk to him, he said, "Oh man, that guy brought my wife back." He said, "Wes, you know how hard it is to wake your wife up in the morning to tie your tie?"
Really?
Yeah. Oh, he was in.
Raphael from Comcast?
Yeah, we were sitting there having lunch, and I said, "What's the matter, Raphael?"
You sent Rafi to Dr. Pannozzo?
We didn't even get lunch. We just went in and drove right down to him.
Wow.
Yeah, well, one day.
Yeah, one day we drove, and then he goes, "Oh, wow." And he's moving his arm back and forth like this. Oh,
These
my.
elbows are really, if you understand how they're made, they're really easy to treat. I mean, when you hear all this surgery be done for an elbow,
Yeah.
it's crazy. Don't do it.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars are invested in elbows right now, my friend.
These people are making a market for themselves,
Yeah, they are.
and that's what I'm doing. I'm making a market, but
Yeah.
I produce.
But the bottom line, he was playing basketball with his kids.
Well, I'm a firm believer now that if you have Tommy John surgery and you come back, your second year, you're a dog. Every pitcher on the Met staff is suffering. Their velocity is down. They're not. They don't have the
Yeah,
same
we can
accuracy.
see those and fix them. We
Doc,
know how to take care of it. They
You know,
just
the problem, Doc, is I know Fred just sighed, and I know what it is.
It's just frustration.
It's frustration because of their agents and what's written down. They got it. You know, you might. This is something that you said a long time ago, and I got it from a Journal of American Medical Association. They said the best thing for rheumatoid arthritis is therapy and meds may decrease the pain and relief, but it doesn't give you a permanent cure.
Well, therapy is not good for that.
Mhm.
No, because why? Because it's nothing they can treat. It's a joint inflammation, and there's nothing they can do. Therapists could do for that.
So why don't they do a paper on you? What you could do? I mean, that's
Well, the rheumatologists work with them because they dump those patients off. So, well, you have rheumatoid. Well, go get therapy. Therapists don't know what to do with that,
No.
but they won't say that because they get paid. They're protected by the federal government.
unbelievable.
And the rheumatologist should come to somebody like me, musculoskeletal, because we'll knock that joint pain down fast. Do you ever see a rheumatoid with fingers that go like this?
Yeah.
Well, you know, that's a muscle that tightens down. It's right here. Easy to fix. But you can't get the patients to do it because they send them to the therapy.
Yep.
And all they do is get worse and worse and worse. And the therapists ought to wise up. They're getting a bad reputation because they can't improve those people.
Well, they you ever watch 30-30
Yeah.
on ESPN? They had I can't remember his guy. I don't want to mention his name, but they had a well-known football player that they kept him in the game just by shooting him up with cortisone. Never where the pain was. He said they used to, he was having pains in his back, and they shot the cortisone in his butt.
No,
They
they
missed.
didn't know what they were doing.
They
that's for
missed.
sure.
They missed by a long shot.
The funny
Yeah,
thing
a
is,
long shot.
the funny thing is, doctor, when you go to physical therapy, they say motion is lotion. Okay, so what they want to do is they want to get
That's what
you.
the girl that gave me a massage said.
I'm pretty sure they want to get that stiffness to move again. And the funny thing is that's what you do is you give people back their mobility.
Yeah.
And if people understood that,
Yeah.
they will bypass weeks of having your bones click clack until there's it just hurts to do what they want you to do.
Yeah, the rheumatologists don't do this kind of work, musculoskeletal work. They don't. They treat blood. Okay, so what are they doing? They're dumping these people off on a therapist. Therapists aren't trained in what to do with that. They can't do anything about it because they're joint pain. So that's a conundrum. What do you do? These rheumatologists ought to seek other doctors to help them with their problem, not shun the patient to somebody who's not qualified. Surgeons are the same thing, the orthopedic surgeons, and if they don't have anything to operate, they send them to the therapy. The therapy doesn't know what to do with that, especially in low back pain. So what if it's an annulus pain? Oh, it's a new term, annulus, but that's where the pain comes from. It's a ligament.
I've heard that one before.
Yeah.
1-800-889-0267 if you want to share a story that you're going through or about
Yeah,
to
call up. We're lonely
give
here.
us a call.
Yeah,
800-889-0267.
I gotta look at these. Thank God I got a beautiful girl at the booth. I can look at her. I don't have to keep looking at you guys. Okay, we got a lot of questions to get through today. Jessica from Atlanta writes, I've seen your show a few times and will be going to see you in August on my vacation. Good move. I work in a warehouse and my lower back is always killing me. In the meantime, I was prescribed opioids to relieve the pain. I do not want to take any medication until I go see you. I think I remember you saying you do not give any medication in this. Is that correct? Yes. Lower back pain lower back pain can come from somewhere else. How long do you take and find the source of my lower back? Well, Jessica, I'm going to let the doctor answer that. And let me give you his number again, 561-381-5800 to call him. So basically what Jessica wants to say, she doesn't want to take opioids and her back is killing her, and she wants to know how long will it take for you to find the source of the lower back.
Yeah, I got the question. First of all, opioids should not be prescribed. It's not anti-inflammatory. Remember, all pain is inflammation in origin, and it's mainly ligament. So aspirin's your best drug. You take 3 or 4 aspirin at a time and go about your business. It'll take care of it. Opioids will not. They'll just make you a junkie, and you're dependent on the doctor. In other words, you got to go back and get your prescription filled, and you don't want to do that. Aspirin is your best drug.
Yeah, you always told me that.
And then your diagnosis it takes me 20 minutes from beginning to end. In other words, we'll knock that pain out and find out where it is and knock it out in 20 minutes.
So taking these painkillers, talking as a medical doctor, if it's just knocking out what you feel, it's not fixing you.
Yeah, well, that's they don't know where the pain's coming from.
So why do they keep giving you these?
Because you keep going to them.
Okay,
that's
so you
why.
keep going.
Keep going to say you have
This
pain.
is what I'm
They give you.
telling people. Take your health into your own hands. If you're not getting well by going to this X number of doctor, go somewhere else until you find the proper one. We are the proper one, by the way.
Well, I'll tell you something. I have Crohn's disease, and I called my gastroenterologist and have all this problems with my teeth. He said, take 4 aspirins. Don't take any of that stuff. And he was right. We relieved the pain, the inflammation of the pain. Next day I woke up, I was doing ice packs. So, yeah, you are right, because, when you have Crohn's disease, you want to make sure you said, don't take Tylenol, don't take 4 aspirins, and go to sleep. I did. And that's from the gastroenterologist.
Now, one of the things I hear about aspirin is it's a bleeder. What does that
That's
mean?
not true.
Not true, because I got Crohn's disease. I didn't bleed.
Look, the new ones dissolve quickly in the stomach, and just wash it down. Take a glass of water and wash it
Yeah,
down.
Ecotrin is coated.
Take a glass of beer, whatever you like, and wash it out.
And
So
if you
now
take,
get smart about this.
take some wine with it, man, you take a nice nap, you get up, and the next day you have no pain. I'm serious.
Well, so I guess this bleeder and all this bad for you stuff is again just a gimmick for you.
It's a gimmick to sell Tylenol.
Gotcha.
Well, the bottom line is when you have Crohn's disease and your doctor says take aspirin instead of oxycontin and all the other things, you listen to your gastroenterologist. This is what you've been saying all the time. Because there's a thing on.
But that disease is not in the stomach.
That's correct.
Further down and down the pike.
That's no Doctor's Pike's Peak, right? Don't peek. Okay, next question. Oh, we got some local people here, Doc. Russell from Miami Beach writes, my doctor sent me to your website. Wow. But as I don't give out his name, I watched your show on shoulder injuries and was shocked to learn that most patients you deal with do not need surgery to repair what's going on. My doctor said to try your system first and see what happens. Wow, it's a smart doctor. But I wanted to ask first, rotator cuff injuries, is this something you have dealt with in the past? Can you tell me how you fixed the situation and is it permanent? Well, first of all, I want to give kudos to your doctor.
That's right. That's unusual.
Yeah, because I guess that's someone that's listening to the show also.
The rotator cuff is merely a tendon that lifts your arm to the side. That's all. If you could do that, you do not have rotator cuff. Some people have a pain doing that, and we call that a supraspinatus tendonitis. See, we don't use that term of what term was that?
Rotator cuff.
Rotator cuff.
That doesn't happen. It doesn't exist at all.
Well, I said to 3 tennis players.
We have a virtually 100% cure rate.
Yeah, I said to 3 tennis players.
That's if you have no motion. We can still give you a big cure rate.
So let me hold on a second. So let me get this right. Rotator cuff injury, Dr. Pannozzo says, isn't what they make it out to be.
Correct.
Do you know in the early 2000 era, the baseball era, rotator cuff was the #1 injury among major league pitchers?
And tennis players.
Millions of dollars was spent on fixing rotator cuff
Nobody
surgery.
has rotator cuff.
Amazing. Just
Everybody
amazing.
has a diagnosis. The orthopedic surgeons are doing this to you. I don't know. I get so angry with this because there's no way that you can say that in good faith. Because you don't examine the shoulder and you get an MRI, which is misread.
Also, tennis players. I said that 3 tennis players are out there playing tennis the next day.
I can see a tennis player because they have to lift their arm to hit the racket.
Yeah,
I can see that motion.
They're one of the. I think more tennis players suffer from that name thing that he cures. I've sent people there.
It's usually capsular, which is inside the knee, inside the shoulder, not the rotator cuff.
And people believe you when you tell them that you are a patient. And I said, if you want, just go to Pannozzo and pull out my records. Yeah, I'm a patient. I was a patient. If I have pain, I go to see him.
That's right.
And I did.
But then we'll show you where it is, and then why it is, and then we'll offer you a cure for it. If you say no, you lose. If you say yes, you win. That pain leaves just like that. But you got to know how to do it. You know, we went to the anatomy and lab to find out how the shoulder was made. Right. You know, there's a method to that construction. That you have to know how it's made, what it's supposed to do. Then you could examine for it, and then if you create a pain on the examination in certain motions, then you know where the pain's from. Okay, that's the big thing right there. You got to know where the pain's from. It's not rotator cuff.
Cause and effect.
Cause and effect, and so then we put a shot in it. And it goes that quick. No therapy. No, don't come back. You don't have to come back. That's why the waiting room is empty. But we see all those new people all the time.
Hey, I love when I see those new people filling out the chart, and the people next to them say, "This is the best thing you've ever done. The best thing you've ever done." In fact, I went there. We went to lunch. They were calling him, the old patients, to come in. They're still sitting there. And when he comes in, I said, "You know, the guy's got to eat, guys." He said, "Let him fix me first." We got Henny from West Palm Beach who writes, I wanted to ask if I am currently taking anti-inflammatories for a leg injury. Can I still go and see you? Do I need to stop taking the medicine? How many visits would it take to recover from bone or bone leg injury? I'm also 74 years old. Is this too late for me? I'm 74. It's never too late to get rid of pain.
We don't know what's wrong with this person. But
what they say, bone to bone.
She said bone leg injury. Yeah, bone on bone.
Well, we don't know what that means, but we can fix any pain in the leg, no problem at all.
Okay.
And 74 is not a problem.
No.
I'm 74. Look at me. I'm in great shape.
That's probably why they're asking.
Okay. Freddy gets a bell for that, Doc. Perez Sr. writes from Boca Raton, I'm a veteran with 4 tours overseas. God bless you, my friend. I've been treated for many ailments since I was injured and shot in my left leg. Wow. My question is that the military treats a lot of issues with meds, and I would like to change this course of action. Do I have to bring in my prescription, and do I need medical clearance from the VA to go and see you?
No, don't have to have anything. It's up to you to take care of your health. Don't let anybody tell you what to do.
Yeah, we
Try
have a
it.
lot of vets that come in to see you. Yeah, a lot of Marines that you cured.
VA does treat everything with meds, though.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. They have a pill for every ailment.
Well, he had a guy that got hurt, who was a Marine, that got hurt in the Marines, and not from in action. He just got hurt on something. He came to Dr. Pannozzo a couple of times. He has an article in the newspaper that he has in his office that he now does 10-mile marathons on his
Really?
bike. Yeah. Well, you see it. You can read it. Anyone who wants to come and see it, we'll send you a copy.
Wow.
I'm serious. Nice guy. Big guy. You don't want to fool. Do not want to fool around with this guy. Oh, we got another. Oh, now we're going to our New York people again, Doc. Helen from New York City writes, I've had a lot of pain in my left arm for many years. I was told I had arthritis, and there is really nothing anyone can do about it. After watching several of your shows and telling others to watch with me, my question is, it seems that you can cure pain in the shoulder, and it does not seem so complicated. My doctor wants to send me to a surgeon so they can replace my shoulder.
For arthritis?
I just read it. I'm 72 and worried about complication, and is it worth going to rehab for a long time? At my age, is there hope for me taking the first plane down to see you? I got news for you. You're not old at 72. Explain to her, Doc. It was a one question. If you want me to go back, you know what it is.
Well,
just,
arthritis is the first thing.
The shoulders are easy to fix.
Right.
Just come on down, have a vacation, get the thing treated.
Look, you're going to come down. He's not too far away from the ocean, and I got news for you. It'll be well worth it.
Now, arthritis in the shoulder, Doc, is that common?
There is no such thing as arthritis anywhere. It's just a term, doesn't mean anything.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
You know how many people tell me I have arthritis?
Yeah.
I mean, every day, 50 people tell me they have arthritis.
Why you walking? I got arthritis.
Why do they let that kind of thing bother them? There is no diagnosis there.
Yeah.
It's just a term. It doesn't mean nothing. It doesn't mean anything. Nothing. No localization. Nothing.
And it's funny because when you
And they
say
let
to
their
them,
whole life revolve around
around that.
You know, people, you got to wake up.
and they'll go, when you go to them, what does that mean? You know what they tell you, Doc? It hurts.
Yeah, that's what it means.
That's
It
what
hurts right here. I can't go like this anymore.
I can't lift my arm. I got the arthritis.
But you see how fast that is fixable? Real quick.
My friend went to a doctor before I met you, and he went to the doctor and says, whenever I raise my hand, I got pain. You know what the doctor said? Don't raise your hand.
It's true.
I said, yes.
But
And
if you have
therapists don't have any answer to that either, because it's a ligament and it's inflammation. That's why they have no treatment for that.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Are you on my list?
No,
Okay.
but this is quick.
Okay.
A ligament can a ligament not shatter, but have like hair endings?
No, it cannot.
Wow.
In other words, can you see a ligament on an X-ray?
No.
So how do they know? How do
It's
they
just
know?
a term. It's just a term they use. They get an MRI.
That's a great question.
And the MRI will be read for a surgeon. So it'll say, well, you have a tear of the this or a tear of that. Doesn't mean anything. You can't tear anything. This is a true story. I mean, every time I think of it, I get upset a little bit.
Verklempt.
We had a 78-year-old woman who came in my office with a bad knee. And I said, okay, how did you get this? Oh, I tore everything out. I said, how would you do that? You're 78 years old. What happened to you? Did you fight with somebody or something? Did you fall down the steps? What happened? None of that. They just diagnose these things as a tear this or rip there. It doesn't mean anything.
So when they're saying these things, it's not that there's any kind of tear or
No,
hairs
there's
or
not
anything
actually a
like
tear there. And the term we used in the past is sprain.
spray.
Sprain. Okay, that tells you it's a ligament injury.
Now, let me just preface one
Got to
thing.
go back to the old stuff,
So everyone knows he is a doctor of physical medicine and is an expert of 50-something years on physical medicine, musculoskeletal disease.
Musculoskeletal.
He is not a chiropractor.
He's not a chiropractor. He is not a massage therapist.
No.
He gets rid of your pain.
I treat chiropractors.
Yeah, I know.
I know that, but there
You know
are
what?
people.
It's funny. I'm talking to a guy. He said, "What do you do for a living?" He said, "He's a chiropractor."
So I asked him, well, what if you have this diagnosis? Do you have a treatment for that? He said, no, I never heard of that. I said, oh, my God,
Because
this is what they're doing to the public. You get it?
well, if you listen to it logically, how could you adjust something if you don't know what caused that pain?
Well,
So-
you can't get to it to
No, you
adjust
can't-
it.
right.
But take 2 or 3 treatments. If you're not better, then,
Yeah.
just get referred over.
You know what I think it is? I think people are should be skeptical of the chiropractor, not being skeptical of you.
Well, you got to be skeptical of anybody who's treating you and gets no results in 2 or 3 days.
Right, that's what they say.
Then you got to say, well, what am I doing here?
Hey, listen, if you go to a chiropractor, and my mother went to a chiropractor,
Yeah.
and you go to a chiropractor, and you have enough faith in him that he's going to put needles and, twist you
needles.
around.
They can't do needles.
Well, whatever it is that they do.
Adjustment.
They adjustment, and they twist you and whatever. If you can believe in that, then why couldn't you believe in somebody who's going to tell you, guarantee you, I'm going to remove this pain and I'm going to show you where it's at.
Say that word again.
Guarantee.
Guarantee. When have you heard that from any doctor?
Chiropractor won't guarantee anything.
No, don't guarantee anything. A surgeon who
I do.
Yeah, but and the reason why you can guarantee it is because it works.
Yeah, I don't have to pay.
Well, the funny thing, yeah, that's true.
Because it works.
But the funny thing here is that people will tell me, "Oh, what he does isn't true. That's not true. How can you guarantee?" If you don't believe it,
Go do it.
no. If you don't believe it, then I challenge you.
You know,
Come on in. We'll take care of your ailment. We'll guarantee it, and we'll go from there. If you don't believe it, I'm willing to back my horse. Are you
Yeah.
willing to back yourself?
I tell people if it doesn't work, let me know.
Now, the thing is, you're going to get relief in 2 minutes. We used to think it was 10, then 5, now it's 2. 2 minutes, you got relief. How do you know? Because your motion comes back.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we do it. It's a cause and effect relationship, you see.
Remember that way?
And
that-
you're in charge all the time.
There was
You
this-
know, when somebody tells me they have vertigo or a headache, there's no test for that. You just have to trust the person you're treating to tell you whether it works or not.
That's right.
And it always works. They'll go like this. Oh, I don't have a headache anymore.
Wait, there was that lady that came in and she couldn't move her back. And she got the shot. She says, I don't know if it's working. He said, touch your toes. Oh, no. She touched the toes. And she said, I've never been able to do that.
What about when you have vertigo and you're driving? You know how dangerous that is?
Oh.
I mean, please pull over.
He.
No,
I may
turn
be on
around and
that
come to
road.
see me.
So let me just say one thing about Botox. I have to get this off my mind.
Botox.
I was in to getting my nails done and a pedicure, and on one of the girls' things it says, "We are now able to give you Botox." Now I'm saying to myself, the girl that's playing with my feet now could give Botox?
That's right.
Is
She
that
goes from-
amazing?
She goes from your feet to your brain.
But the bottom line is,
She washes her hands, though.
well, she's got it in my feet. But no, what I'm trying to bring to everybody's brain is everyone uses Botox. It doesn't work. And they
But
say,
they still do it.
Works for wrinkles.
wait, well,
It does?
yeah, but you have to keep going back. I mean, a vial, when you go to your
because
dermatologist,
it paralyzes your nerve, and so you don't get the contraction of your muscles. So
but you got to keep coming back every 6 months.
It's
It
like
doesn't-
getting a plumber to
You
work
ever,
on
you
your
ever
car.
see the professional people, entertainers, and they interview them, and their foreheads don't move?
That's Botox.
Like any talk that you do is going to move your forehead, right? Like mine's moving right now. Well, those don't move.
I'll tell you,
You know that's Botox.
I'll tell you what the scariest thing is. I went to get Botox when my daughter was getting married to get rid of my wrinkles, and he hit the wrong nerve. So here's the way I
and
slept.
then you end up like that.
No, I slept like this. Is what I ended up with. This is the final. Here's
That's
the way.
why he looks the way he does.
Yeah.
Here's the way I slept that night. My wife was scared.
That's it.
You couldn't close your eyes.
No, for 2 days.
If you want to see what he looks like, go to Pannozzo.tv, because that's a scary look.
Oh yeah, my wife's asleep.
Oh, yeah, Pannozzo.tv.
Pannozzo.tv.
There's also another one, Dr. Anthony Pannozzo.
Dr. Anthony Pannozzo.
Yeah,
I don't know that
that's
one, but
on
okay.
YouTube.
On YouTube.
That's
YouTube.
YouTube, and there's a lot more stuff
Yeah.
on there.
But I want to let everybody know, coming in the next couple of weeks, thanks to my guy here, Freddy S., we're going to show you things, folks, that are going to blow you away. You're going to see actual patients with probably every symptom that you have, actual patients telling their story, and watch the end result. I mean, that to me is going to be the most exciting thing. That's going to be phenomenal.
Dr. Pannozzo also touched on parents bringing in children with
Yes.
scoliosis, right?
Oh,
That's a big one.
It's a huge one.
Huge one.
Any sports injury for a child,
Looking
a
forward to seeing that.
teenager. I mean, those are all fixable. Therapy, you don't go to therapy for 6 months or 6 weeks or anything. Don't waste your time doing that.
so if you have a child, or if you know someone that has a child that has scoliosis, I am going to tell you, folks, you can, if you want to go to our website, well, not mine, Dr. Pannozzo's website. If you want to come down, it's worth it for your child.
Pain centers nationwide.
Pain centers nationwide, and also
Pannozzo.tv.
.tv, and you will actually see patients. Don't subject your child to this.
That's
ever.
right. Even if you want just for him to take a look at your son or daughter, and they're gonna play sports, and this is a coach telling you, let them see Dr. Pannozzo.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
he's gonna give you the real
worst things
deal.
are the trainers.
Oh,
They have no background to give any kind of advice whatsoever.
No, they
And
don't.
Yet they're giving it, and these kids are being mistreated. I mean, it's a tragic situation.
Well, normally trainers at the high school level is a parent. That it's a EMS or somebody who volunteers. But you know what? Even going above that for a little bit, just have your kid come in and take a physical. That's all I ask.
561. I'm sorry, Freddy. 561-381-5800. I
That's all.
apologize.
And if the doc doesn't find anything wrong, he says, okay, the kid's well enough to go play. I would trust that. And I'm telling you this. And
As a coach.
I've coached at all levels. If I had known this guy, I would have prevented lots of injuries.
And you coach a professional football team.
Yeah,
So I mean, we're talking. We
Baseball team.
and for the football too in
Yeah.
New
You do
Jersey.
both? You do
Yeah.
football?
Yeah.
Was it New Jersey Generals? I don't remember which one it was.
No, we got to do something in Philly.
Okay, but the bottom line is, folks, don't suffer in pain. And you know what? Throw your insurance card away. Do whatever you have to do to relieve that pain. Life is too damn short.
Well, the question you always ask is there any downside to what we do? There is none.
No downside.
No downside whatsoever. And we've never been sued.
Well,
Knock on wood,
thank God.
Doc.
Knock on wood.
All right, you want to
Oh.
give our numbers?
To speak to the world famous Dr. Pannozzo, it's
Yes.
561-381-5800. Now, he's driving, so do me a favor. Give me a half hour before you call him, because he'll take the call.
He's sitting in the suicide
I'm
seat.
in the death seat, Doc. I'm in the death seat. 561-381-5800. I hope everyone's watching the show. Look forward to in the next couple of weeks. We will blow you away. Carol, thank you so much for helping us. Freddie S, as always. Dr. Pannozzo, Gio, and Linda, feel better, sweetie.
This has been the Dr. Pannozzo Sports and Medicine Hour with Dr. Anthony Pannozzo. If you spend 5 minutes with Dr. Pannozzo, you'll see he genuinely enjoys helping others. Visit Dr. Pannozzo online at www.paincentersnationwide.com or call him at 561-381-5800. Dr. Pannozzo will consult with you to determine the best solution to your pain needs. 561-381-5800 is the number to call, even if it's just for a second opinion. Join Dr. Pannozzo next week when he brings you more important information on the physics of weight-bearing and engineer concepts for the body.
1230 WBZT West Palm